Hello, 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 everyone. I'm your host, Miranda Fritz, and welcome back to another episode of Random Randa. Have you ever wondered about spring break? How did it start? Beach parties, bikini dancing, boob flashing, and why does St. Patrick's Day have to do with all of it? Well, me too. Let's find out. So my curiosity was sparked after watching a Netflix documentary called Liberated that was about spring break and the newfound sexual liberation, or maybe not so liberated, movement. I'm not going to lie, this documentary totally depressed me. It focused on the new sexual revolution caused by mainstream media. It follows a group of college guys whose main goal is to hook up with as many women as possible on Panama Beach, and it also followed two college women in Cancun who experienced sexual exploitation themselves. It's actually a pretty insightful watch. I would suggest if you're into thought-provoking yet slightly depressing reality-style documentaries, then you'll like this. As I mentioned, this documentary depressed me, mostly because it made me realize I was basically an old lady, or at least have the personality and values of one, because I felt so sad for the girls who these guys would sleep with and then toss aside. One guy was literally like, "Hey camera, watch this. I'm gonna go pick up some dumb girls. It's so easy." And he would walk up to the girls and be like, "Oh girl, you're so beautiful," and then grab her butt and her boobs. And the funny thing was, he was right. It really was easy. Most of the women that were interviewed in the documentary were totally cool with it. They said that love is basically overrated and it doesn't exist, and they would actually be impressed or sometimes weirded out if a guy texted them the next day. There were even guys that would try to tear girls' bikinis, tops, and bottoms off in the middle of the beach in a hungry crowd of women-hungry men who would then join in on tearing off the bikinis. I just got depressed because it really seemed like people my age just don't care about each other's personal space, love, or even the opposite sex in general. While I understand it has been this way for a long time, and spring break is basically just one concentrated area of mindless, sex-driven groups of people, the film really got me to thinking, how did spring break become, well, spring break? Complete with boob flashing and bikini dance competitions and wet t-shirt contests. I personally have never done anything like that for spring break. I don't usually go anywhere or do anything for spring break. My spring breaks typically consist of couch sitting and binge watching for 7 days straight. Oh, and homework. Although there were a few times that I went on a trip. I think I went to San Antonio last year with my aunt and my cousin to go to Six Flags. But that's about it. But I imagine this break will continue to be an uneventful one for me, chocked full of sleep, homework, TV, and more sleep, which I'm totally cool with. And since I figured it could be seen as a teensy bit conceited of me to only include my own plans, I took it upon myself to see what everyone else is doing for spring break. And here's what they had to say on this week's Random Cam.
I'm working a lot. I decided to not go for fun to Chicago, and I decided money is better. So I will be working. Excellent.
Sounds good. My name is Kennedy. My major is sports and exercise science, and I plan on working for spring break.
We're going to the Rocky National Mountain Park to hang out, explore nature and everything.
My name is Bryce Gephardt. I'm studying biology, and I'm going to South Padre Island for spring break.
Cool. How do you feel about that?
Great. I'm excited.
My name is Isabel Rosales. I am studying creative writing in English, and I'm going to California for spring break.
For spring break, I'm traveling to Colorado Springs to visit my mama.
For spring break, we are going to Branson, Missouri. My husband and I are going with my brother and sister-in-law for a couple's weekend getaway, so it's going to be pretty exciting.
My name is Eric Jimenez. My major is nursing here at Cameron University, and for spring break I plan on going to Denver, Colorado to go snowboarding for the first time.
All right. Oh yeah. What are you doing for spring break?
For spring break, I'm going to spend time with my dog because I didn't get to spend much time with her during the winter. And I'm going to get ready for graduation in May. Yeah, and do assignments as usual. But that's it.
So, nothing too crazy. Basically, lots of family-friendly trips and working. Oh, and also hanging out with pets, which I will totally be doing as well. I bet my rabbit will be pretty happy to not have to be locked up in his cage all day for a whole week. But anyways, this is how spring break started. You can blame it all on the Greeks and the Romans. Well, not really. They were technically just the first noted people to celebrate the arrival of spring, the season of fertility and awakening, and the worshiping of their gods of wine, Dionysus and Bacchus. According to Time magazine, however, the true culprit is a swim coach from Colgate University, Sam Ingram, who decided in 1938 to take his swim team down to Florida to train in a giant casino pool, the first Olympic-sized pool in Florida at that time. Eventually, in the 1938, the casino began hosting swim coach forums, inviting swim teams to their pool. There were a reported 300 swimmers that year, and thus began the age of spring breakers. A bunch of women in bikinis, and where there are bikinis, so there will be men to watch. Basically, it started to become a thing. More college students came, and then they would party and drink and whatnot. The first spring break to be highlighted in Time magazine was in 1959, and from there it became the new thing. They even started making movies based on spring break. In 1960, titled Where the Boys Are, a story about a group of girls who go to Florida on spring break to find love and adventure. Literally, I got that from the movie synopsis. I guess that was before the love theme was nixed from spring break. After the 1960 blockbuster, spring break attendance skyrocketed. An estimated 50,000 college students traveled to Florida instead of the usual 20,000 calculated in previous years. Students were searching for the spring break experience that they had seen on the big screen, and it's safe to say, in this case, life began emulating the movie as college students tried to replicate the fictional experience for themselves. The media has obviously played a big role in the evolution of what spring break has become today. There have been plenty of movies based on spring break since then, and even televised specials. MTV in 1986 premiered the first spring break special full of non-stop Daytona Beach parties. It also sparked the infamous DVD series Girls Gone Wild, in which girls would lift their shirts on camera and say, "Spring break!" This idea of spring break is forever seared into my mind. And that is exactly what the documentary Liberated was trying to say. The media, the celebrities, and Hollywood itself has altered the ideals of sex and love and what it all means. Spring break is just the culmination of it all, the pinnacle of what our society deems important in social interaction and relationships. And to think it all started with a college swim team pool party in 1930. Like, I doubt that coach guy ever thought it would be a Kickstarter for a petri dish of sex, alcohol, and disease-infested cesspool. But I can't help but picture the ancient Romans getting jiggy with it while celebrating the gods and goddesses of wine. With a bottle of wine in everyone's hand, it's like ancient times Oprah. You get a bottle of wine, you get a bottle of wine, everybody gets a bottle of wine. But in all seriousness, even though spring break is based on fun and adventure and having a good time, it has its downsides as well. When I mentioned earlier the bikini man-inflicted bikini stripping depicted in the movie, that was only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how bad it can get out of hand in the debauchery of it all. There are so many accounts of sexual assault that occur during this time, and it should not be taken lightly. It's easy to get caught up in the hype of it all, and fun can quickly turn into a bad situation, even in broad daylight on sunny beaches of Panama, Mexico, and wherever else is a popular spring break spot. I don't want to discourage anyone by saying this, and it is our right to have fun and let loose for a couple of days. I just want everyone to be safe and realize not everyone out there has your best interest in mind. And based on the documentary I watched, they most likely won't care about you at all. So, I said all that to say this. Ladies, if you're going out to have some spring break fun in one of the hot spots, go for it. Have a good time, but please be cautious. Don't lose sight of your drink. Stay away from dark, solitary pathways. Never go out alone. Have your exit buddy, a ride or die, if you will. And please, please, please don't assume that just because it is a well-lit and populated area that you can let your guard completely down. I love y'all, and I don't want anyone to get hurt. And fellas, if you're going out and about in one of the spring break hot spots, please respect these women. They want to have fun and a safe time just like you do. And if you see anything fishy or assault-like, please do something about it. Be on the lookout, because some of us don't go to the gym every day, and some of us are kind of short, and we need a little help if someone's giving us a hard time. You can go on and have a good time and get jiggy with it, but please, if need be, help a sister out if you can. I really hope that everyone has a wonderful, fun, awesome, and totally safe spring break. I'm Miranda Fritz, this is Random Randa, and it's time to bring in the Dancing Aggies.